Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos a un video nuevo. Welcome to a new video. Today we are going to talk about a popular and common Spanish phrase. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. Also visit smlessons.com for more free Spanish lessons, to download free crossword puzzles, and also you can download flashcards. You can also donate to this channel. And yeah, all the links are in the video description down below, or you can just go directly to smlessons.com. Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to Kate Beck and Stella Sabatini. They are Cafecito members. Thank you so much for the coffee and the support. I appreciate it a lot. If you're interested in supporting this channel, you can check out the memberships that we have. You only have to click on the join button down below to check out all the memberships and the perks as well. Okay, so also give this video a like. That helps me a lot. And okay, let's get started. So today's phrase is an interesting one because you can use this phrase in some situations, and I'll tell you which situations because it's a tricky phrase for sure. So the phrase of the day is a corto plazo. A corto plazo. So do you know what this means? Have you heard of this phrase before? This means literally to short period of time, or a short period of time, of course. So a means to, or a in Spanish, or in English. A means to and a. Well, a in Spanish, of course. And then we have corto. Corto means short, okay? As something short, something, just short. And plazo means period, okay? Like some period of time. That's what that means, okay? So that's what this phrase means literally. Now, the use for this, it's kind of similar to the literal translation, but this phrase means short term. We're talking about a short term, also in the short run, and in the short term, okay? So those phrases in English are very similar to the Spanish phrase a corto plazo. A corto plazo. By the way, guys, I'm live streaming, so you can use the live chat if you want to ask any questions, if you want to share examples using this phrase, or if you want to say hola. Okay, now let's see a few examples using this phrase. The good thing about this phrase is that you don't need to conjugate any verb, okay? So you only need to use a corto plazo. Okay, so the first example is el cambio se verá a corto plazo. El cambio se verá a corto plazo. This means change, or the change will be noticeable in the short term. So, okay, we can see that we're talking about some sort of change that is going to happen. So if you hear something like this, that means that a change will change things in the short term. Okay, so that's quite interesting. So let's break this down. El cambio. That means change or the change, okay? Se verá is similar to saying will be noticeable, okay? Se verá will be noticeable in this situation, okay? A corto plazo, in the short term, okay? So you can use this phrase if you're talking about something that will happen and you will see results in the short term, okay? So that's basically what a corto plazo means, in the short term. And in this situation, we're talking about a change, some sort of change. Okay, I see someone on the live chat, KS. ¿Y tú qué estás haciendo para Navidad? That's a great question, KS. I will answer this at the end, well, almost at the end of this live stream. But I'll answer that at the end of this video. Okay, by the way, welcome, KS. Okay, now the next example is paga tu casa a corto plazo. Paga tu casa a corto plazo. This means pay off your house in the short run. So we're talking again about something that is going to happen, in a short period of time. So maybe you will see this kind of phrase when someone is advertising something, like some sort of, maybe some sort of bank is saying, hey, if you get a mortgage with us, pay off your house in the short run with whatever plan they have, right? So it's something that you might hear. It's probably that you will hear in Spanish when we're talking about finances and purchases and loans and all of that. You might hear, or you will hear this phrase a lot. So let's break this down. Paga in this situation means pay off, okay? We're talking about paying something off. You want to get rid of the debt, right? You want to pay off a debt. So tu casa means your house, okay? Your house. And a corto plazo in this situation means in the short run or in the short term. Either one, right? So paga tu casa a corto plazo. Pay off your house in the short run. So yeah, it's tricky to use this phrase because you can't say something. This phrase is used mainly when we're talking about finances, when we're talking about loans, when we're talking about, for example, in the first example, we were talking about change, right? So it's a complex phrase, but it's not too hard to master, okay? You just need to know exactly when to use this. So probably you will hear the people from banks talking about this, saying this kind of phrase, maybe politicians as well, and people at office, maybe. It's like a professional kind of phrase. I don't know if that makes sense, but professional people will say this a lot, okay? Like people from banks, people from companies, people from the government, and so on. Okay, now let's see more examples. Okay, so the next example, before that, KS says prestaciones por desempleo es a corto plazo. Okay, so you're talking about some unemployment insurance, something like that, I assume. Maybe you can hear that kind of phrase in that kind of situation as well. Okay, so the next example is Miguel no quiere una relación de corto plazo. Or Miguel no quiere una relación a corto plazo. Okay, so this is a bit different, right? Now we're talking about someone and we're talking about a relationship. So this phrase means Miguel doesn't want a short-term relationship, okay? So you could say Miguel no quiere una relación corta, because relación is feminine, relación corta, short relationship or something like that. But if you want to sound like, if you want to say this in a different way, you can use a corto plazo or de corto plazo, okay? So sometimes you might see this de corto plazo instead of a corto plazo. So that's pretty much the same thing. It's just like something that happens when you're talking about some short term, okay? So Miguel in the situation is Miguel, no quiere, doesn't want una relación, a relationship, a corto plazo or de corto plazo, okay? So short term. So Miguel wants to get serious, maybe he wants to get married or something like that. So he's not playing around. He wants to date someone who thinks the same as he's thinking. So in this case, he wants a serious commitment, a serious relationship, okay? So you can use, maybe it's not too common to use this phrase for relationships, but maybe some people will say it. So it's good to know that you can use this term or this phrase if you're talking about relationships, okay? So that's quite interesting for sure. Okay, KS says, cuando usted tiene deudas de tarjeta de crédito, debe pagarlo en el corto plazo. Okay, so that's a great example, KS. I would say you could use the phrase a corto plazo. En el corto plazo, I think it sounds better if you say a un plazo corto or a corto plazo or something, or this phrase that we're learning, because en el corto plazo, debe pagarlo en el corto plazo. Sounds a bit odd to me, but that's a great example. That's a great example. I would say a corto plazo. Cuando usted tiene deudas de tarjeta de crédito, debe pagarlas, because we're talking about deudas, pagarlas a corto plazo. Okay? So that sounds a bit better, but that's a great example. Great. Thank you, KS, for sharing. Okay, the next example is, habrá consecuencias a corto plazo. Habrá consecuencias a corto plazo. And this means there will be consequences in the short run. So if you're dealing with a situation and there's going to be certain consequences, you can use a corto plazo to refer, that something will happen in the short run, whatever it is, consequences or something like that. So this example is similar to the first one, where we were talking about some sort of change. Now we're talking about consequences, okay? So this is great. It's a perfect example, and it shows you that you can use a corto plazo when you're talking about change, consequences, and things like that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe a politician is saying this, or you could even, like, anybody could say this, like, your actions will have consequences, right? So you could say, habrá consecuencias a corto plazo. Okay, so let's break this down. Habrá, there will be, consecuencias, consequences a corto plazo. in the short run. Okay, so yeah, that's very, very good, very interesting. It's just another way to say, like something will happen soon or something will happen shortly, so it's great, a corto plazo. Sometimes people think, oh, maybe this phrase is only about, finances, and not. Sometimes people use this in different situations as well. Okay, let's look at 2 more examples. Esto nos afectará a corto plazo. And I forgot to highlight this. Okay, there you go. Esto nos afectará a corto plazo. This means this will affect us in the short term. So we're talking about something again. It could be a decision, it could be a change, it could be an action. So you can use that phrase when we're talking about those things as well. So let's break this down. Esto means this, whatever it is. Nos afectará, will affect us, okay? Because nos is similar to us here, and afectará is conjugated. It's the conjugated form in future tense of the Spanish verb affect, okay? I mean, afectar. That's the Spanish verb, afectar. Afectará means will affect. And when we use nos, we're saying us, right? Nos afectará, will affect us, okay? A corto plazo, in the short term. So once again, we can see that the meaning of a corto plazo is in the short term. Now, you could also say a largo plazo, okay? So let's say you want to say the opposite of short term. You could change this to largo, a largo plazo, and that means in the long run or something like that. Like we're talking about the opposite of a short term. We're talking about something that will take a long time. Okay, so that's quite interesting as well. Okay, excellent. Now let's see one more example. Okay. Oops, what am I doing? The last example is: necesito un préstamo a corto plazo y sin intereses. Necesito un préstamo a corto plazo y sin intereses. This means I need a short-term loan and with no interests. So we're talking about loans, and this is a very, very common phrase to use. A corto plazo is used a lot when you're talking about bank stuff, loans, I don't know, like anything that it has to do with finances and bank and all of that, banks, different banks, you will hear this a lot, a corto plazo, okay? So now let's break this down. Necesito means I need. Un préstamo. That means a loan, okay? Préstamo means loan. And a corto plazo in this situation means short term, okay? Something that has a short term. And y sin intereses, and with no interests. So yeah, so someone Someone needs a loan, a short-term loan, and that person doesn't want to pay any interests. So yes, this happens a lot. If you go to a bank and you need a loan, you can say, necesito un préstamo a corto plazo y sin intereses. And then the person from the bank can tell you more about it and so on. And so, yeah, it's quite interesting that this phrase is used in this way as well. So as I said before, this phrase is used, I don't know, in different places, like at banks. The government can use this, companies can use this, and yeah, this phrase is used by professionals a lot, but you can also use it if you want to talk about something that is or has some sort of short term, something that doesn't last too long. And yeah, I mean, in Spanish, a corto plazo is similar. This Spanish phrase, a corto plazo, is similar to short term, in the short run, and in the short term. Okay, those phrases are very, very similar to this Spanish phrase. Okay, so I see some people on the live chat. Fan my who, hola, fan my who, welcome. How are you doing? ¿Cómo está? Espero que esté bien. Welcome. And KS, en alquiler hay contrato de arrendamiento a corto plazo. Yeah, you can see that a lot. That's a great example. You can see this phrase on contracts, on your lease. If you're renting some house, you might see that somewhere on the contract. For whatever situation, maybe, yeah, you can, if, for example, KS is talking about, something similar. If you're renting something in a short term, maybe you can see this phrase a lot. Okay, thank you, KS. Fan My Who says, bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Yo estoy muy bien. Muchas gracias por preguntar. And okay, so do you have any questions about this phrase? Maybe I can answer your questions. And also KS was saying, just going back to the question that KS was asking, ¿qué estás haciendo para Navidad? What are my Christmas plans? Okay, so, or what am I doing for Christmas? Well, honestly, KS, I don't plan those things ahead usually, so I'm gonna stay home, that's for sure. I'm not going anywhere. You know why, you guys know why. So I'm just gonna stay home, maybe watch some movies. Oh, by the way, now that we're talking about that, one thing that I'll do for New Year's is we're gonna live stream, not on the channel, it's just a personal thing that I'm gonna do, but my husband and I will watch a Kiss concert, because Kiss, the band Kiss, is going to live stream. I think they're gonna play in Dubai or something like that, and that's gonna happen on December 31st. So I'm gonna do that. That's something that I'm gonna do for sure. I'm gonna live stream a Kiss concert. So we're very excited about that. If you guys are interested, you should Google it, because I mean, I like Kiss. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. And if you do like Kiss as well, you should check that out for sure. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked this video. I see that I don't see any questions. I assume everything is clear. But yeah, this phrase is a little tricky, but if you practice, you can master this phrase for sure. And if you missed the live stream, you can leave comments down below. You can leave your questions down below on the comment section down below. And also, if you have any questions, if you want to share examples, please feel free to do that as well. Okay. Fan My Who says, thank you so much for doing this. You're welcome. I'm glad you guys like the lessons. That makes my day. It makes me happy. So, okay. KS is saying, yo también, yo podría... What? Okay, KS, I'm not sure what you're talking about. We're talking about a black cake right now. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about, KS, but thank you so much for participating. And well, remember to, if you like this lesson, if you like what I do, please give this video a like. That helps me a lot. And also, if you can check out the memberships on this channel, guys, that helps this channel a lot. And you will also get some perks in return, so that's great. That's awesome. So if you like what I do and if you want to support this channel, please check out the memberships. And well, that's it for today. Remember to subscribe and also click on the bell icon or the bell button so you get notified every time I live stream. And you can visit smlessons.com for more free Spanish lessons and to download free stuff and more. Okay, well, take care of yourselves. Be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.